hands. He's an older man now. You know, we've not seen him legitimately knock somebody out since the Ricky Hatton fight. So punch for punch, when it comes to power, I think McGregor has the advantage, even with the 10-ounce gloves on. They're fairly evenly matched when it comes to physique. Conor's the slightly bigger man, 1 inch height and 2 inches in reach. But Conor, because he's used to cutting down to the weight class and gaining weight afterwards, I would imagine he'll be the more physical human being in this. So if he can work his way into a clinch and kind of muscle Floyd around a little bit, I think he'll prove to be the stronger man.
In a boxing ring, it's quite easy to paint somebody into a corner just using simple side steps, kind of like a windshield wiper. So every time they step, you just cut them off. And because Conor's got such long arms and such a wide guard, he can constantly threaten with that long lead jab and that powerful left hand. Now, when Floyd gets backed up into a corner, a lot of the time he likes to use the shoulder roll position, which is excellent against an orthodox fighter. If I switch to orthodox for a second, whenever I'm throwing my jab, it's going to be parried and rolled off that lead shoulder, which is a really, really good defensive tactic. But when he switches to a southpaw, he effectively creates a pocket here for Conor's left hand to be thrown into, which is what he's got to watch out for. It's going to be difficult to roll the shoulder past the left hand here, and he's going to be exposed to the right hook as he's coming back. Whereas if he stays in this position here, there's a pocket right in there that he's going to parry the punch right into his shoulder. So even if he's not catching it on the chin, it's going to square him up. It's going to push his shoulder back and square his face up. Bang! For a counter left hook, for a counter right hook. That's what he's got to watch out for. So the shoulder roll doesn't work quite as well against the southpaw fighter, which is why we see Floyd switching his stance. He tends to stand a bit wider and lean his right shoulder forward so he can pop that right hand very quickly.
He's got a ridiculously long reach for a lightweight. I mean, at 74, 75 inches, that's a welterweight reach in mixed martial arts. And if you watch McGregor's fights, you'll see he uses that reach to the fullest extent, particularly on his left hand. When he throws that, he throws it very long. So he may be standing slightly outside of Floyd's comfortable punching range and be able to exploit that extra 2 inches of reach.
Looking to finish the fight. It is all over, just like that.
So as you see with McGregor, he's got quite a wide stance. He's got quite a wide guard, a very confident guard, because he used a lot of head movement instead of his guard, which is what Mayweather's going to be doing. So what I would expect Conor to do, use that extra couple of inches of reach and keep kind of feeling him out with the jab, but then start powering stuff through to the body, the midsection. Start bringing Floyd's hands down, which means he can then start to go high afterwards.
I think one of the most important things to address going into this fight is the gloves. I mean, they're not using the 4-ounce UFC gloves that Conor's used to fighting in, which my boxing coach calls them sleeping pills, because you know they're so much tighter on your fist. They hit with so much force because there's less padding to be absorbed, that the power's not spread across the glove. Whereas if you look at a 10-ounce glove, not only is the power dispersed across the surface of the glove when it makes contact, but you've got to think from a defensive position as well, especially if you're Floyd Mayweather. You know, there's a lot there you can use. You can build a shield with a glove, you can hide behind it. It becomes a part of his defense as well.
Let me give you an idea of what Conor's going to be looking at. Now, with Floyd, he has two different stances that he likes to use. If he's pushing forward, he looks through his gloves. But you can see this is a massive shield, a big wall that he's using to hide behind. And a lot of the time, he can cover most of his face and his body by just using these gloves. The shoulder roll is something that he uses a lot, which he uses the lead shoulder to guard one side of his chin, and then the backhand to guard the other. And this allows him to counter very, very quickly when somebody's committing to their own punches. But you can see behind boxing gloves, there's a lot to hide behind. There's a lot of padding there, which Floyd can use to cover himself and use to obscure those targets that Conor's looking for. So this is what Conor's used to fighting in. Now you can see already that there are a lot smaller the boxing gloves. Even if I put my boxing guard up, there are so many more targets that can be hit. You can see more of me as a target. So it's difficult to use these for defense. You have to rely much more on catching the punches with your hands and getting your head out of the way using your reaction time. So against Floyd, I don't expect him to change that too much. I would imagine he'll draw the guard in a little bit. But the reason why Conor's so effective in mixed martial arts, and because he's got such a signature style, he has this really wide guard, which is as tactical as it is bravado, honestly. Like, he stands in this position here, but because he creates such a wide guard, anything that's coming on the periphery, he can block with his hands. And he's also quick enough to cover anything that's coming down the center. But the difference with mixed martial arts is the range. I'm standing in mixed martial arts range right now, and now I'm standing in boxing range. in boxing range, you're much more available to be punched, which means that you have to rely on the gloves a little more. Whereas in MMA, we stand slightly further back because of the kicking range, so you can rely on your reaction time a bit more. But one thing I will say, using these gloves and fighting the MMA range, Conor's going to be excellent at covering distance and landing that big, powerful left hand that we've seen him use a lot before.
Mayweather should win the bout through hitting and moving. What he always does, he's done that against world-class fighters before, and I see no reason why he won't do it again.
You know, they're both going to get extremely well paid, but there's only ever going to be one winner there, and that's a guarantee.
My prediction for the fight is simple. Floyd, Floyd and Floyd. I'd be stunned if Floyd gets hit more than half a dozen times. It's all Mayweather.
Floyd Mayweather has never met a man like Conor McGregor. Conor's a master commander at psychological warfare. He's kind of stood in these shoes before against an invincible legend.
Where's Jose? He's not even here. Rumor has it he fled the country.
I am his daddy.
Look into my eyes, little man.
Ooh, vamos here.
2 years ago, I was facing the then pound-for-pound #1 fighter on the planet, Jose Aldo. They said the same things then as they're saying now. They said I had no chance. They said I'm in over my head. They said he kicks too hard. Too many weapons. The Irishman's gonna fall short. He doesn't stand a hope. It took me 13 seconds.
You don't know what to expect from Conor, and I believe and I know that he's training like a crazy, like a beast, and I believe we are going to see a very special, very different Conor McGregor.
He's always aggressive. He goes right for them. For the first time in a very, very long time, Money Mayweather is going to be in a real fight.
I see Conor knocking Mayweather out. I see him figuring him out in a couple of rounds and landing that big shot. And when Conor lands on anybody, they fall over. And that's what's gonna happen again.
You have two great characters. They are both marketing geniuses at hyping up fights, at generating energy around contests.
You're 40 years of age. Dress your age. Carrying a school bag on stage. What are you doing with a school bag on stage? You can't even read.
The purists may not like it, but the casual fans will flock to this fight in their numbers. It could break all pay-per-view records. Floyd Mayweather is brilliantly defensive. He has fantastic footwork, major reflexes, but there are still X factors about Conor McGregor that you cannot deny. He has, at every turn, talked the talk and then gone into the octagon and walked the walk. Can he do this in a boxing ring? That's the big question here. Can he do it against the defensive master of this era?
Conor can win this fight. You know, Conor's all about breaking new ground. He's all about surprising people. He said a long time ago that this was the fight that he wanted. He wants to fight Floyd Mayweather. No one thought it was going to happen. This is where entertainment meets boxing. And they are not only two of the best fighters in the world, but they're two of the best entertainers as well. And Conor thrives in those kind of situations. He thrives in the trash talk.
1, 2, 3, the Mayweathers!
Floyd's not only representing his own brand and his own legacy, but he's representing the sport of boxing. Mayweather is nothing without his ego, and his whole ego is based on his perceived persona in the boxing world, which can be destroyed in a second with one big left hand.